friends, apreciados amigos, good afternoon. My name is Felipe Fabrega, partner of Amrop in Panama, Central America, and the Caribbean. On behalf of all our Amrop partners throughout Latin America, we want to welcome you to our master lecture on key aspects to upgrade your board and take your company's potential to new levels, especially in these challenging times. Today, we are going to present three relevant topics. The first one is about how familiar we are with the new trends. Federico Cuneo will lead this topic. Federico is our partner at Amrop Peru, former Amrop Global Chairman, and presently he sits on the Global Board of Amrop, representing Latin America. The second topic is about how ready we are to be a valued board member. Joseph Tepperman, our partner from Amrop Unity in Brazil, will guide us into this topic. Joseph is a member of the committee of the Brazilian Institute of Corporate Governance. The third subject will address how ready we are for diversity and digitalization of our boards in Latin America. Clarissa Vitone, partner of Amrop Argentina, will get us across this vital topic. Thanks for joining us today. Federico, you may begin.
Thank you, Felipe. It's a real pleasure to be here today and to share with you all aspects from our engagements with boards around Latin America and around the world, actually. I want to start with the mission of the corporation. The mission of the corporation historically has been maximizing shareholder value. And that's migrating to maximizing sustainable share and stakeholder value. And that mandate comes into the hands of the board. And the board role is to serve as a guide for all actions taken in the management of the corporation to accomplish the company goal which transcends the short-term view and just economic results as it's proven as unsustainable. Therefore, the board must engage in gradually into a new way to operate. We have to understand that this balancing act is a difficult one, because the pressure to show quick results, to have the best economic performance, that necessarily go together with synchronizing share value and stakeholder value. Therefore, the board must be in top of this main topic. But if we go back a little more, the responsibility of electing the board is in the hands of the stockholders, the shareholders. And we require them to appoint board members that are capable to incorporate this new mindset, individually and collectively speaking, to be able to go to a shared value model and prevail in time, obviously. And obviously that is besides the other skills the board members have to have. As academic and business experience. Now, this is not to let it sit and think. This is to incorporate, and the moment is now. There's no time to lose as the business environment is accelerating, change is coming quicker, and more we have greater demands from shareholders and from stakeholders. I think the pandemic has shown us the demands from our customers. They require to adapt our business models to be able to reply properly to our customers. And therefore, we got a huge learning from this experience of the last months. During the pandemic, we had the opportunity to interview CEOs in the Peruvian market, the top CEOs of the corporations in the country. And I have three quotes that are very important related to this. The first one is, the board skills requirements have changed. In other words, we require different competencies on our board members. Second, besides education, knowledge, and experience, we need wisdom in the board table. Third, there is a concern for the human side that has become a priority. And I want to really celebrate this, because the fact that the CEOs in this survey highlight the human side of the whole operation as the main aspect to take care of. I think it's probably the first time in ages that we had to do that. Now, we have to acknowledge that corporate behavior has been influenced by CSR, sustainable development principles, Sarbanes-Oxley, circular economy, shared value proposition, responsible capitalism, social energy, anti-corruption policies, which haven't worked all that well as we see around the world. But they are all fine. They're all fine, and they are honestly a request from within the business world to be good citizens with the planet and with society as a whole. But we need a new mindset. And that mindset is not included in the priorly mentioned philosophies, if we want to call it. We need a new mindset deep down, individually and collectively, to upgrade the production of the boardroom. What are these new trends? These are incorporation of new tools, concepts that derive maybe more from philosophy like quantum physics than from traditional business management. I will ask, please, Paola, to show them on the screen. And these are consciousness, holistic view, interconnection, and interdependence. As they are complicated concepts, please, Paola, keep them there until I finish with them. So, consciousness means to always make a priority the purpose and the impacts of our business, and be always, as at the personal, as the board level, keep them very alive, keep them present. Second, a holistic view. And even though it's complicated, you must see yourself as part of the whole, keeping in mind the big picture, instead of what traditionally was, seeing ourselves as individual building blocks. Third is interconnection, which requires to search and understand the links between the different networks and layers of the network to have a real world picture again, and seeing and feeling our role within them. And finally, interdependence. Understand and care for multi-reciprocal relationships internal, external, national, international, with all stakeholders that affect the well-being of our corporation and our future. So that in summary, my role was to talk about the new soft skills, which include the core thinking values and a philosophy way to understanding business and society. And this is, from my point of view, regardless of our country, the size of our corporation, the location of our corporation, or the stage of business in which we're in, or the market share we have. These trends are here to stay as a stepping stone to a more sustainable business world. And from the board, we must guide that process. That would be our responsibility as boards. So these are the new trends that we see coming into the boardrooms. Thank you, Paula. We can come back to the screen. Now, I will pass it on to Joseph Tepperman, from our partner from Brazil, that has the pleasure to address to you as I just had. Please, Joseph.
You didn't hear me before, right?
No.
Okay. So thanks a lot, Federico, for your words and for passing the ball to me. My question to the audience is, are you ready to board? We are in an interconnected world. Amrop is present in 46 countries, and we have a very strong presence in Latin America. And I'm going to repeat the question. Are we ready to board? Everybody's missing airports nowadays, so I brought this panel to remember us how it feels. And I brought the boarding pass that some of the boards and board members are still using, those old ones, but Clarissa will talk about diversity and digitization. And we should be using from now on this kind of boarding pass. So let's go to the gates. And by the way, we can get lost in translation because we are talking in this continent. We speak in English, we speak Spanish, we speak Portuguese. Some countries we even speak French. So is it a board? In Spanish-speaking countries, it's consejos or directorios. Here in Brazil, it's conselhos. So how not to get lost in translation? Different countries, different wording for the same body of governance. So in English-speaking countries, you have the non-executive director sitting at a board. In Spanish-speaking countries, we have director or directora sitting in the directorio or in the junta directiva, or even consejo, which is similar to the Portuguese word of that is conselheiro or conselheira, sitting in the conselhos. So in order not to get lost in translation, as it happened to Bill Murray in the very interesting movie, I visited that hotel in Tokyo, by the way. I went to the dictionary to get the definition of the words and the origin of the words. And conselho, consejo, comes from council, from Latin concilium. This is a concilium that happened in year 325. This is a council of war in very important decisions during war. Instead of the commanding officer making the decision is open for a body of people in order to have the buy-in of the subordinates and getting the consensus. So it changes the way of making the decisions. This is, again, a council of war in the World War II. So let's remember, council comes from Latin concilium, and it's assembly of persons for consultation, deliberation, or advice. And it all happens in the environment of the corporate governance. And I said, okay, what does governance come from? And the word governance comes from the Greek kubernai, that means to govern, to steer, to decide the direction. And it's interesting that in the past, they used the steer like in the boats, in the ships. And nowadays, we are still using the steering wheel to drive Tesla cars, for example. The more advanced cars, we still have the steering wheel to govern the car. So I had a career counseling client. It's a CEO say, hey, Joseph, I want to be a board member. And my first two questions to him, and it for sure works for you as well, were first, are you fully aware about civil and criminal implications? Because when you're sitting in a board, junta, directiva, conselho, you have full responsibility for what happens in the company. And the second question was, why do you want to be a board member? It's like the end of your traditional career, and you want to feel useful sitting in a board. You want a new career. You want to start your anti-career. That is the name of the book that I wrote last year and that I'm planning to translate to English next year. Do you want to give back to society? Is it money? You want additional remuneration? Or you want to stay busy and connected to the business environment? What is the reason that you want to be sitting in a board? Now, during pandemic's time, some people want to get out of home. So do you want to be busy and getting out of home? Well, what is the real reason you want to see? And he answered me he gave me his answers, and he said, okay, I understood the implications. Thanks for letting me be aware of what are my main objectives sitting in the board, but I really want to be a board member. I said, okay, now I have different questions, because saying you want to be a board member is not enough. It's like someone telling you that, hey, I want to work, but which kind of company, which position? So given that you are a leader, in my opinion, you need to drive the car. It's not myself or the market driving your car. So it's not me driving the car, it's you. I'm giving you the direction, I'm giving you the wheel to drive the car, posing those next 7 questions to you. And after you answer those 7 questions, you're going to see that the opportunity may happen sooner than you think. But it's going to happen only if you have the answer. Let's go to the questions that I posed to him, and they are going to be useful for you as well. First question, what is the present governance stage? You want to be implementing governance for that company? You want to fully implemented governance in the company? So you have to think about it. Call me next week with the question, with the answer for this and the next questions. Second question. So I told him, now I have a second question to you. Do you want to be sitting in a board, in an advisory board, or a fiscal board? And he said, important questions I haven't thought about before. So I said, okay, let's go to the third. What is the size of the company? Do you want to go to a small company, a medium company, a large company, a startup? And what is the reason for that? How does that connect with your future plans? Or it doesn't matter for you the size of the company, could be. And then we went to the fourth question. Which are your preferred sectors? I want you to be driving your future. So which sectors do you prefer to go? Is there any sector that you don't want to go? And he said, yeah, there are two specific sectors that I wouldn't like to be investing my time. And let me call you next week, he said, with the sectors that are the one that I prefer. Fifth question was, what is the present situation of the company / the change that you want to be a part of? Do you want to go to a stable company, or you want to go to a company that needs to be changing strategy, or a company that is already changing strategy, but it's in the beginning of that? Tell me what is the actual situation of the company. Sixth question that I put to him, and I think it's important for you: how does this board connect with your future? This client was a CEO of a private company, and he thinks that in 3 to 5 years he will have his successor ready, and he will be willing to move to another company. And he said, I want to be able to join a public listed company as a CEO. So I prefer to sit in a public listed company, and this is how it connects with my future. This is his case, and it's case by case. It's very personal. So think about your career and your future. And the last question, very important one. On top of wanting to be a board member, why does this board should bring you to the table? So what special competencies you're gonna bring to that board? I know you are a CEO, you have general management skills, and those are the skills that majority of our public will have, the people that are attending to this session. Maybe you are a board member already, I know, but you are a game changer in some specific competencies. So please do this exercise where you're very strong and unique. And with that, I'm pass the word to my partner Clarissa in Argentina. And the ones that are not Brazilian and Argentinians maybe don't know that regarding soccer, there are rivalry. And I could find this picture saying that to show that the countries are friends. And I'm very happy, Clarissa, to be your partner. Amrop Latin, please.
I am so happy too, Joseph. Thank you so much. Yes, if we could only, make things better with that photograph. So many emotions. Okay, hola a todos. I am Clarissa Vitone from Amrop, Argentina. I am sitting here in Buenos Aires, and I am so glad to be here with you this evening. So, up to now, we have heard from Federico about the current trends for boards, the new ways in which we are looking at our boards, our new expectations and requirements. It is indeed very different from what it was 5 years back. And Joseph has clarified the most common misinterpretations regarding boards in Latin America, and he has also shared with us the daily conversations that he has in his practice from people who are interested in being directors. These conversations coincide with the ones that we have here in Argentina as well, and I guess that with most offices in our region. So, following the same path, I will be addressing diversity and digitalization. These are two important matters which are deep into today's board global trends. So, there have been many lectures and talks and articles about diversity. We are guilty. We have produced a few here in Amrop, Argentina. It is everywhere, isn't it? So why is it so important today? I will first go into the reasons for why it is so important at board level. And secondly, I will share with you what we think diversity is here at Amrop. And I promise I will not be talking about quota laws and regulations. So here are the true reasons for diversity. I'm going to share a slide with you. Okay, diversity enables more robust, sustainable, and wiser decisions. It brings better business results, and it fosters creativity and innovation. So let's go into number one. Why does a board with diversity reach more robust and sustainable decisions? Well, as Federico said, a board represents the interests of the stakeholders, not only the stockholders. And the chances are that the stakeholders of a company are truly diverse. Think of any company, a mining company, a fast-moving consumer goods company, a bank, Amrop, your company. The stakeholders are usually 100% diverse. And who are they? First of all, the consumers of the goods and services that our company produces. Then we have the stockholders. We also have the communities in which our company operates and the employees, usually another very diverse pool of talent. And the list goes on. Companies are becoming more global and stakeholders are becoming more diverse. So our suggestion for an upgraded board is that diversity should aim to mirror as much as possible the diversity at the stakeholders level. And it works that way, in this way, in our opinion. Most stakeholders are then represented at the highest governance level. All these different points of view have to be heard and taken into account. Usually, such points of view and interests are quite different between themselves, and the exercise of listening to each other and having to arrive to a common decision makes the decisions wiser. Again, this is what Federico was addressing at the beginning. This means more sustainable in the future for longer terms, ethical, holistic. So this is why we say that it enables more robust decisions. The second reason, if we remember from the slide, is that diversity brings better business results. And it has been proven. There is proof that companies whose board of directors have a third of gender diversity, for example, show better profit than those with homogeneous boards. Diversity is also positively associated with enhanced financial value because of its improved CSR ratings and ethics. It is a way to earn legitimacy, and the financial value goes up with it. Because of this, investment funds are requiring boards to be diverse as a condition to invest, and they are pulling out their investments if this is not the case. Okay, and now the third reason, which is my favorite, you may remember it from the slide. Diversity enables or fosters creativity and innovation. Diversity is oxygen for new ideas. If any group of people is too homogeneous, they tend to repeat themselves over and over again in the same old formulas that have been successful in the past. We can all here think of so many examples, can't we? This is the case of so many family companies, for example, that fail to bring stakeholders' diversity into their boards. And you know how creativity works because we experience it every day almost at our personal level, at our individual level. Creativity is the mental process in which two or more bits of information come together in our minds to create a new and useful idea. If we are looking to generate more creative ideas to solve a problem, the best thing we can do is to diversify our thinking and encourage our minds to look for information associated with other concepts. We do this at an individual level, as I said, so it is the same at the board. If you already have different information, perspectives, experience in your board, you will continuously be innovative because of that mix. So innovation is the need to change and adapt in the most useful, creative, sustainable, and profitable way. Okay, I mentioned at the start that I was going to tell you about our view regarding diversity, what is diversity, or what diversity do we promote? Well, we promote a diversity that should mirror at the board level, as much as possible, the stakeholder diversity. It's not a Benetton commercial. It's this type of diversity that we're looking for. And the concept is wide. We can start with gender, but that is only a drop of rain in the downpour. But just to honor the article that we recently wrote here, I would say that in the world we are half women and half men, and this is reflected in our consumers, in our employees. So again, it is so natural and necessary to have such diversity in the organism where the most important decisions are made. Women have come a long way in having very relevant roles in society, with important decision-making in so many areas, especially in the purchase of goods and services. So how can a board afford to lose this gender perspective? But we can say exactly the same thing with cultural diversity. We have made a strong point of this. If a company, any company, a local one, a multi-Latina, a global company, does important business in a region, how can a board afford to lose the Latin American cultural perspective? We strongly push the incorporation of Latin American directors, women or men, in global boards. If you are a global company that does business in Latin America or wants to in the future, a Latin American director will bring you knowledge of the different markets, the much needed cultural understanding of so many aspects of doing business here, plus the tenacity, the resilience, the adaptability, and the short-term tactic moves that you need in this region. So gender diversity, cultural diversity, experience diversity, and we also promote a board to have old members and new members who are coming in for the first time and bringing their fresh vision. Okay, I would like to end my contribution this afternoon addressing another aspect of board diversity. This is a matter that Amrop has been studying globally for some years now, and it is another characteristic of our ideal upgraded board. I invite you to think about your companies and their main challenges today. I am sure that digital transformation is high on that list, and more so with this pandemic and the e-commerce boom. We know that all companies now are either born digital, which, as we well know, are only a happy few, and then the bulk of the company's map in each of our countries is formed by companies which are painfully undergoing digital transformation. How is it then that board members do not reflect such digital experience and vision? At Amrop, we have been conducting global surveys on the level of digitization of boards for some years now. And I'm going to share with you the results from last year. This is it. Only 5% of board members in non-tech organizations have digital competency. Only 5%. And this is from last year. And does this lack of digital competency at the board level have consequences in the company? The answer is a big, huge yes. Digital transformation is so urgent, so crucial, and it requires the construction of such a different vision that, yes, undoubtedly, the mountain will surely be more difficult to climb if we do not find in the board these digital strategic leadership skills. Okay, we have these surveys, by the way, available for you all. You just need to ask any of us for them. They have been published in many ways. We asked, for example, the C-level and executive leaders about what was helping them or blocking them from moving forward in the digital transformation, and look at what the answers look like. Number 2 is the board. So the board can foster and enable digital transformation, or it can block it. It's very, very important. And let's go deeper still. I want to share with you a few of the questions that we asked in these surveys. We asked questions such as, what is blocking your efforts to take your organization forward digitally? What are the threats to your organization linked to digitization? And what is the attitude of your board towards digitalization? So you can imagine the answers, you get the picture. Okay, so how can we afford our boards to lack this digital experience, competencies, and vision? No wonder it is so difficult. That is why we say that this experience nowadays, in today's world, is mandatory for a great board. I think I'm running out of time. I indeed am. We have covered the wide concept of diversity and the reasons why we need it. Diversity keeps our boards and companies oxygenated, innovative, and true to their stakeholders' dynamic needs and vision. And secondly, we have covered within the subject of diversity of experience, the issue of digitalization. This great upgraded board needs to be able to foster out-of-the-box solutions, bringing guidance and a fresh vision to the executive team. So let's keep working to upgrade our boards and making them stronger for the future, for a more meaningful future for the stakeholders that we all cater for. Muchas gracias. Thank you for listening. I am now going to pass on the word to Federico, who will give the closing words of this webinar.
Thank you, Clarissa. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Felipe. Outstanding work. To all, we appreciate your presence today. This was a team effort from the Amrop Latin members to share knowledge with you. The people attending today, for your information, are both prospects, clients, and candidates. And the subject is all around the board, which obviously it's much larger or much more complex than the things we touched on today. Today we dedicated some time to philosophical changes at the board, way of thinking, questions about possible candidates to board, and diversity and digitalization, which was very beautiful touch by Clarissa. In January, in summary, we try to be agile on responding to your needs and creating new products to comply with your requirements. And today the topic is a consequence of what we've been speaking with you, as a matter of fact. You can trust us that we will always conduct our engagements with compromise, passion, care, and of course confidentiality, because we move in the confidentiality world, especially. Thanks, Felipe. Thanks, Clarissa. Thanks, Joseph, Paola, and the Panama staff that was in charge of running this event today. Again, thanks to you all for attending. Amrop Worldwide appreciates it. Thank you very much.